I was tapping the button on it. I'm sorry.
Hello, Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee. We are now live streaming. Welcome to our first and only in-person live streaming Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee meeting of this year. It's a pleasure to be with all of you. Today we are going to review three bills, three Senate bills, SB 744 from Delegate Senator Shelley Heddleman, Senator Washington's SB 869, and Senator Sidnor's SB 557. We are going to start with Senator Heddleman's bill first, 744. This is a bill, this is a cross-file of a bill that was filed by Delegate Polakovich-Carr, which we did some work on, and sent it over to the Senate. It is now coming back to us, or it is coming over to us from Senator Heddleman in slightly different form, and so we are going to do some more work to this as well. And I'm going to ask Matt to walk us through the edits you should have, or the amendments. You should have a reprint at your desk as well as a list of amendments, and we will walk through those. Thank you, Matt, for being here.
Okay, it's great to see everybody. So the reprint I'm working off of is SB 744 693-028-1. All right. So to start, amendment number 1 is technical. Amendments numbers 2 through 6 actually conform the bill in many ways to what the House had already done. So as a reminder of what those changes do, alters the definition of affordable housing that's used in the bill to what was sent out in the House version, requires DHCD to make a determination of the suitability of real property for use or redevelopment as affordable housing within 60 days of a certain notice, and alters certain notice and listing requirements in the bill. Clarifies that DHCD may consider other factors beyond the minimum elements enumerated in the bill when determining suitability of property to be used for affordable housing. Requires the unit of state government disposing of the property to consider certain factors if multiple offers are received for the property, and strikes provisions relating to the transfer of funds from the sale of property to the rental housing fund. There are 2 additional amendments. Amendment number 7 requires that DHCD notify the state treasurer after determining that a property is suitable for use or redevelopment as affordable housing, in addition to the unit that controls the property, and would prohibit the donation or sale of property if, in the opinion of the state treasurer, the sale or donation would adversely affect the tax-exempt status of certain outstanding state bonds. Amendment number 8 would strike the authority of a unit to dispose of excess property through leasing the property. That was an addition added in the Senate version. One other major change between this bill and what the House did, there is a $30 million transfer to the rental housing fund from personal income tax that has been reviewed and is incorporated in the budget as well. So this just provides for the transfer of the funds.
And I'm just I see some quizzical looks about what that is. So rental housing works is money that the state appropriates every year to help ensure that our low-income housing tax credits can actually be used. So there's 2 types of low-income housing tax credits, 4% and 9%. The 4% low-income housing tax credits are very difficult to use without extra capital. So every year in the state budget, we provide anywhere between $20 and $50 million to make those 4% low-income housing tax credits actually usable. And so this is I guess how I understand it is this is the mechanism allowing that, but the money is already in the budget for it.
That's my understanding, yes. This is just transferring it to the fund.
Yes. So, any questions? Delegate Clark.
So this was money that was already going to be in the budget. It just got attached to this bill as the amendment to keep it going through.
Exactly. This money is already in the budget.
And this $30 million will be used for more than just the excess property, buying excess property. It's not all going to be used for that.
Right.
Yeah, any allowable purpose under the rental housing fund.
So it would go to all the local housing authorities.
It's not, it won't go to the housing authorities. So this money is in some ways totally separate from this bill that we're doing. It just so happens that they're both about affordable housing. But the money is going to a pre-established program called Rental Housing Works, is my understanding, right?
To the rental housing fund, which is used for various loans and expenses, yes.
Yeah. Other questions? Delegate Weibel.
Thank you. So if the money's already in the budget, why is it necessary to put it in this bill?
What's included in the bill is language to authorize the transfer of the funds and to make sure it's available for the
So
start
what
of
does the
this-
budget do?
appropriates the funds, so authorizes how it can be spent, purposes for which it can be spent.
And then this does what?
Transfers the funds.
And the budget wouldn't automatically transfer the funds?
My understanding is that this is required language to complete the transfer.
So in the budget, yeah, and I agree with what Matt's saying. This is the authorizing language and the budget is the appropriating language. Sort of two separate functions that we have.
And this is a one-time transfer?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, thank you.
Delegate Terraza.
Okay, thanks. So let me see if I understand. There's 3 changes from before. There's this transfer. And then there's something informing, I missed exactly who's getting informed if there's going to be a transfer so they can check
The
there's-
state treasurer's office.
the state treasurer's office so they can check if who has tax implications.
So the issue there is the property may have been purchased or improved with proceeds of bonds that are otherwise tax exempt. And the transfer, there's a possibility that a transfer might affect the tax exempt status of the bond. So this is saying if there would be an effect on the tax exempt status of the outstanding bond, the transfer wouldn't be authorized. The donation or sale wouldn't be authorized.
It's to make, it has to do with keeping our bond status.
Well, I support keeping our bond status, but
yeah.
I just wondering why we're doing that at the very end. Like, it seems to me that why would you offer it for sale? Did you say we're doing that at the very end?
No, the
No.
notice occurs.
Oh, along with the notice.
Yeah, the
Okay.
notice to the state
Okay.
treasurer would occur at the same time the unit is notified that the property is suitable.
Okay,
To
So there's
go
an
out.
That
assessment
makes
at the
sense.
same time.
Right.
okay. And then the third thing is that they're no longer allowed to lease it, they're only allowed to sell it?
Right, so the Senate added language about leasing the property in addition to donating and selling the property, but in this context, you're talking about surplus property, surplus to the state's needs. So in a lease, you would then, by that nature, require the unit to stay involved in the management of the property. It's kind of outside the scope or mission of that unit.
Wait, I thought-
So the Senate added the leasing. That wasn't in the original bill. And I've spoken to both of the sponsors and they are fine taking the leasing out because the point of this is that the state wants to unload this land.
Okay,
And
but,
so forcing the state to continue to hold it is actually not appropriate and not in line with what the bill's trying to do.
oh, that makes sense, except now I'm confused. So we're talking about the differences between what the Senate did and what we're changing it to, or I thought you
Yeah,
were
so
telling us
we
about-
have the Senate bill, and so in the Senate bill, before it was passed out of the Senate, they added leasing as one of the possibilities. And we want to take that out and send it back over so that the Senate will hopefully concur with our changes. So we're taking the Senate bill, conforming to what we had done for the House bill, including that extra money and deleting the leasing provisions.
Okay. Are there any other changes from what we last saw and what we're voting on today?
No, it's very similar to what
Then
we got out of the
I
House,
am
except for those
fine
two
moving
provisions.
approval of the amendments.
Great. Okay, all those in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? No? Okay, do I have a motion? Second. Great, all those in favor of moving the bill favorable as amended, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, let's move on to SB 869. So this is a bill that we just heard today. Great presentation, PowerPoint and all. This is a local bill that received a unanimous favorable vote from the Baltimore City House delegation and the Baltimore City Senate delegation. Do you want to just describe the bill, Matt, briefly?
Sure. So the requirement under the bill is that the mayor and city council conduct a specified comprehensive small box discount store diversity study. That's outlined in what I believe is Section 2, the uncodified section of the bill. The bill would also authorize the mayor and city council of Baltimore City to enact specified planning and zoning controls related to these small box discount stores.
Any questions? Hold on. Delegate Clark, I saw you first.
If I'm, refresh my memory, did the senator say that the city of Baltimore didn't need this, didn't support this bill?
So originally,
That they felt they didn't need it?
so as introduced originally, the city had some concerns in its letter of information. So Senator Washington worked with the city administration to amend the bill. And as the bill is now, my understanding from what Senator Washington testified is that everything's copacetic. Delegate Weigel?
So Chairman Barve asked the question, can't the city council do this without the bill? And the answer was yes. So I'm wondering why we need the bill.
Many local governments can do many things without bills.
Well, I had a bill killed this year that said that the agency agreed to do it, so we didn't need the bill. So if that applies in a situation, in one instance, it should apply across the board.
So this is a local bill, and the entire city, House, and Senate delegations support it. And we
Yeah, I heard
require in the mayor, are requiring the mayor and city council to conduct this study, and so they will have to do it. They could, I believe them in good faith that they would do it, but circumstances change, so perhaps it wouldn't get done. And by passing this legislation, we ensure that it does.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Okay. Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor of SB 869, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? 2 opposed? Sure.
And state stepping into planning and zoning for local jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our final bill today is SB 557. Right. Okay, this is Senator Sidnor's bill that we just had the hearing on today, discussing creation of a West Baltimore County Redevelopment Authority. And I think we were all on this committee last year, right? We remember we had a similar bill that Delegate Ampry and Senator Hayes brought, the North Avenue Redevelopment Authority. So this is a very similar bill to that. Are there any questions about this bill? Any questions? Okay, is there, great, is there a second? All those in favor of SB 557, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Well, it has been an honor to lead the Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee. You all have been wonderful. Thank you very much. And we did a lot of good work this year, and I will see you on the floor tomorrow. Thanks.
See you in the big house.